And since the changes with Kha'Zix, it'll be nice to see Ambition playing it again. I assume it will be Ambition playing Kha'Zix in that mid lane. And looking at a Trundle highlight, which I assume is just a placeholder, as they debate who's going to go in the jungle and who's going to go top.
Nocturne for Raccoon. So heavy engage, heavy pick possibilities with Ahri, Elise, and Nocturne here. So CTU looking to break it up. I think it's very smart of them to pick this composition against the 5v5 that we may see coming out of Blaze here. A lot of, again, Blaze always has, they have such versatility in their picks. They always are able to split push, and they always are able to team fight well. Their pick and ban phase is so solid, because you think you can kind of back them into a corner a little bit, but then they always end up with either being able to both split push and team fight really well. There's nothing you can do about it.
And like you said, you mentioned earlier, both CJ teams are known for being very calculated. They have really broken down enough champions to feel safe regardless of picks and bans. They can always rely on their strategy. They can always pick up a different champion. They're well prepared. Here we go with the lineups. In top, it's going to be Elise on No Named on Elise, rather, playing against Flame on Vladimir. Raccoon from the jungle with Nocturne, with Helios and Jarvan. Ambition making a return with Kha'Zix and Nima, trying to prove his place with Ahri. It's Twitch and Pogma in the bottom lane, being supported by none other than Sona and Thresh. So here we go, guys. Game 2. This still matters if they tie. Then we're going to have to go into tiebreaker next week. So can CTU bring it back to put Blaze in the corner? Here we go. Alright, in game 2 with CJ Blaze on the blue side, Ambition leading the way on his Kha'Zix, while CTU will be coming from the purple side, as we see both teams just roaming around. A very early ward down there by Lustboy, and very good placement as it spots them. It's a very high traffic area, but Lustboy's going to be spotted himself. But the rest of CJ Blaze hidden as they try to hang out in the enemy's red buff. Both teams.
Great ward location, actually, for Blaze right there in the river, giving them all the information they need. And I'm curious if we're going to see that lack of a W evolution, no Void Spike evolution for Ambition or not. That has been the way that we've seen it played, most notably by Naj and Shield. They've been the team that's really stuck to Kha'Zix even after the changes. So... And I've talked to Loco about that build as well, where the assassination potential from an evolved Q now, because of the changes to Kha'Zix, is through the roof. CJ Blaze has a very versatile composition. They can 3-1-1 split push, they can 4-1 split push. They're probably going to want a 3-1-1 with Ambition, because if he doesn't evolve W, he's not going to be as useful in a 4-1 core. So... But with the Kog'Maw Thresh as well, plenty of poke, plenty of disengage on turrets. Now CTU, they've got the option to 3-1-1 split push as well, but it's slightly worse. And really they want to create those picks. They want to use Nocturne. Now what they should do here is, if CTU gets the outer turrets down first, they need to ward up not the entire jungle, but just part of the jungle. And since they're on red side, they probably want to do the south jungle of Blaze so that they can maintain dragon control. And they want to put Ahri and Elise, they want to split their champions, do a 2-lane split push in mid and bot only. And then they'll have Raccoon sit in the red side jungle and just create pressure through the threat of the ultimate. That is how you Nocturne split push against a composition like we're seeing from CJ Blaze. So,
Raccoon in a little bit of danger. Oh, he almost flashed into that death sentence. They do get the flash out, though, so that's really good. That means a lot less jungle pressure from Nocturne. Already has a bit of a hard time ganking unless he gets the perfect one from the side. Without flash, he's not going to be able to stick with his fear. Good play from CJ Blaze.
Yeah, and without red buff, he there's zero possibilities of a pre-6 gank effectively, or Blaze would have to mess up pretty darn badly right there. And that's important because...
oh, wow, Mima's actually going to give up first blood all the way to Hermes, getting just hard engaged upon in that mid lane. Has blown flash too, and I'm looking and we didn't see a flash from the CJ side, so wow.
Yeah, that was just probably a good death sentence from Lustboy getting landed right there. So the other reason why it's important to shut down Nocturne early is Nocturne is actually very good early on against Vlad because he can fear through the pool. So that's always been considered a pretty strong jungle counterpick to Vlad. But they are giving him no opportunity. Raccoon now just having to take some of this farm in the mid lane as Mima comes back in.
Raccoon actually trying to fear onto here, but Mima decides it's not worth fighting, and I would agree as Lustboy was still around. And Flame having a little bit of trouble, but No Name getting chased away by Helios, also having to blow flash. So CJ is getting a big lead on all these summoner spells early in the game.
Ambition used to doing a 1v2 with Kha'Zix as well. This is a strategy in terms of lane rotation that we've seen from them over and over and over again. And they don't want to stick him into that 1v. Ooh.
Oh, Ambition might be in trouble here. He does get the Ignite down onto Rearus. It's going to be enough as he takes one to mid. No, he actually uses Barrier just in time. Block the second tower shot. They'll live, get a kill on Ambition.
And Ambition, of course, the butt of many jokes here in Korea about always dying first on Blaze. He does have a tendency to play up to his name, be a little cocky in the lane, and give up first blood a lot of the time. We saw it against Sword where he did get surprised by that red buff Twitch at level 1 from Prey, that's for sure, but a little bit of cheese in that game from Sword.
You know, the follow-through with that, though, and that just speaks to what a great player he is that he always gives up first blood, but he usually gets the second kill and gets ahead in CS despite giving up the kill. So
that's why at All-Stars, they said, like, it isn't fair because Ambition is it's only good if Ambition can play to 2 kills, not to 1 kill, because he always comes back and gets those 2 kills after dying first.
Yeah, so a shame for the Korean fans at All-Stars.
Okay, well, now Ambition rotating into mid. They think they've done enough damage. They want to head into that 2v2 lane. And now that Ambition has died, give them a little bit more options here for Hermes and Lustboy. And this is not going to work.
Yeah, Raccoon, you know, just not able to make up his mind on what he needs to do now because...
Good wards, though, to be fair, from Blaze to keep him nice and safe.
And... you know, he's just going to have to go back to the jungle, and this is the sad thing about Nocturne. You get shut down early, and what are you going to do? You just got to wait until level 6 and the second round of buffs to make something happen.
He should just be farming hard right now, not even worried about ganking, really. He's not going to be able to help out very effectively, and so just not worth the time.
Alright, so Rearus does have a blue buff, which is going to let him push out whenever he wants, using his sponge really. And CJ does have Helios waiting in that lane, not spotted. So Lustboy and Hermes doing their best to not give a tell, but they are holding back a little bit.
Well, they do have a pink ward in the forward rush, and there we go, Helios walks out. As their pink ward gets destroyed, actually, by CTU, they pinked in order to kill the pink. That was a nice little move, so they got the vision again, and the jig was up for Helios at that point.
Alright, so everything has normalized a bit since that lane switch, and like you said, CJ did do a lot of damage, and I think they're happy with that.
And surprisingly, they're still behind, though. No Name has been farming a little bit better, as to be expected. Vlad has a tough time farming in the early game.
Oh, Lustboy getting the Lantern right onto Helios. They do knock up Rearus in that stealth, and they're splitting up to try to find him, and it's going to be Lustboy who gets him with that flame. The Ignite goes down, but Rearus is going to flash out. Helios is doing as much damage as he can. They need to run away as fast as possible. As Mima's coming in, he is level 6. He has that Spirit Rush. If he wants, he's actually going to use one to get in first, and he has one left. He flashes forward and tries to get the kill onto Lustboy. Misses a charm in between. A really nice try on that shot, though. And unfortunately for CTU, they can't get the kill, but now they have 4 people here and 3 people at low low health. Ambition's going to come in.
And a lot of pick potential with Charm as well. Mima with blue buff, able to spam those spells. Ambition not probably going to be too helpful here.
No, he can't. It's not like he's going to be able to get a lot of resets. He seems to have evolved that W right there already with his spikes.
Oh, interesting.
So, yeah, going for the Void Spike evolution. But that definitely means he's not going to be able to help defend this other than clear a little bit better. He can't, go for resets or assassinations. And that bottom tower is going to go down in favor of CTU. So CTU, once again, showing that they are a really good team in the early game. It's just that CJ Blaze has so much more experience ending the game.
I think they proved they were a good team in the late game as well. They just made Blaze will punish you for even the smallest mistake.
Right.
And that's what we saw right there is a little bit of a failure to group from CTU in the last game. And the issue is that a mistake like that, you'll still win the game with that early game advantage against 99.9% of teams in the world. And it's just CJ Blaze or teams at their caliber that will really, that even those little itty-bitty differences mean the world. But CTU playing good game, and look at that. They get Dragon, they get that bot turret, and they find themselves with a solid lead again. CTU really knows their compositions. They know they have that roaming advantage. Now Raccoon has that Nocturne ult up so that he can put on even more pressure. It's looking pretty good here again in the early game for CTU. They're playing it really, really well.
And, regardless of how this game turns out, though, that first game alone is a really good gauge for CTU. The fact that you can hold up and, maybe even push CJ up against the wall that early, with CJ Blaze having proven this strategy against so many teams, speaks a lot to your potential in the upcoming stages of League of Legends champions, and they're not going to have to worry about Blaze at the very least in the round of 8. So they have proven themselves quite well.
I'm really happy to see that they are advancing to the playoffs over Sword. They look much more stable and solid as a team. Sword making a variety of baffling errors in their games, and CTU consistency. They started out a little shaky against Sword, but they've grown to have this very nice consistency, and you can see their understanding of strategy here and their understanding of how to play their comps that I feel that Sword somewhat lacks now that Maknoon has left.
Yeah, it definitely was noticeable in this season. And Helios just putting out pressure, and Raccoon waiting for that counter engage. But Ambition is also here. Raccoon has no idea, does get knocked out. Ambition comes in for the assassination factor, trying to deny Vision. But there's the Cataclysm to lock him down, and then the Hemoplague coming in against No Name. He has nowhere to escape, going to have to blow his flash after coming down. Mima trying to see if he can help. And wow, actually everyone from CJ Blaze has moved on up into that top lane to help out with the extended fight. They come out ahead, and they're going to push up against that top tower.
And Blaze knew exactly what Raccoon was looking for right there. Predictable again. They saw that Raccoon hit 6. Where is Raccoon going to go? Nocturne strong against Vladimir, again, thanks to the fact that you can land the Fear Tether through the pool and keep it on there.
Oh, No Name is going to get into a 2v1 duel. He is going to pick up 1 kill and actually get out with the repel onto the minions, so CJ Blaze getting a little bit aggressive.
Yeah, No Name pulling that out nicely, and that'll save his turret as well, so a big, big play from No Name there to prevent it from the global gold from moving more into CJ Blaze's favor, and they maintain their lead.
Definitely.
Even though they couldn't get that one Nocturne ult that they really wanted to off, and they're putting a lot of pressure on right now onto this midway. Oop, Ambition gets hit by the charm. That's the danger.
Yeah, that's a decent amount of health burned down from Ambition. And as you were saying, good prediction from CJ Blaze, and they forced Raccoon to panic, use his ultimate to try to escape, so that's down again for another big pick on the side of CTU.
Yeah, that was just, they had the wards up as well, so they knew exactly where Raccoon would be, and they preemptively moved because they knew that's what the play call was going to, how it was going to go down. So just, these teams just know their strategy so well, and they can adapt on the fly to what they're seeing with different compositions, read those compositional goals, and then react accordingly. And we're getting a very even game because both teams are doing it nicely.
All right, we have. So Ambition is just going, from evolution to build. He's playing as if nothing has changed for Kha'Zix, going with that tier and then into the Brutalizer, evolving his Void Spikes. So not too many big changes. We'll see how that pays off in the mid game, which is oftentimes where Kha'Zix shine, when you start getting that reset on your leap.
Yeah, and Ambition is taking a lot of that free lane farm. He's managed to pull ahead of Ambition, or of Mima, excuse me, just a little bit. He's not pulling ahead of himself. Not yet. He hasn't reached that level.
Going to get away just fine with the leap and then slowing them down with Void Spikes. And a little bit of a lull once again. You know, CJ Blaze, had they not gone too aggressive in the top lane, they would have had more time to look for plays, but that really switched the balance a little bit back to CTU. No Name being able to bully Flame a little bit now, especially with that red buff too.
Well, yes, that is the advantage. He did manage to get the red off of Helios, so a little bit of a problem, and he's smartly zoning out Flame as well, so he can't use the Tides of Blood in order to heal off with the Hextech. And that's having him win these trade duels over time, in spite of the fact that Flame has that Megatron Cloak.
So No Name doing what he can, but the buff is out now, and things are starting to reset, including Nocturne's Paranoia. Who is going to make the first move?
That's right. Well, CJ Blaze should be pretty ready for this. And there's the pink ward going down preemptively at the Dragon. The next Dragon fight going to be quite important to how this game plays out. Flame doesn't have that teleport this time, going for the split push, Vladimir style from Reapered of Flash Ghost. Able to draw people into that lane, and by the time he gets a few more items, he becomes just a ridiculous duelist.
Mima trying to just keep Ambition at bay, but Ambition's going to be farming just fine, still well ahead of everyone. And in top, now that the red buff is gone, actually No Name is going to commit a little bit, but we are seeing the effect now of the red buff is that now that it's not there, Flame can just heal back up with that Hextech Revolver with the Spell Vamp, and there's not much, it just kind of goes even. You know, everyone can just farm, you can both push, and you break even in the top lane. So they might just keep dueling up there while both teams start looking at Dragon for maybe a fight or a pick.
Okay, well, Mima going to go ahead and leash that Raccoon coming out. And how committed is CJ to this? I think they need Vladimir to fight, so they should back off.
They're a little bit worried. Going in for the steal, doesn't get it. Raccoon's going to get, there's a Paranoia. They're going to jump right back in. Helios goes down immediately. They're not going to chase through. The very smart move on Raccoon's part. Didn't get trigger happy and just backed off after one kill.
Mima too with a clutch charm to prevent the Jarvan EQ combo engage. That delayed the engagement long enough for them to focus down Jarvan a little bit, so by the time his Cataclysm came, Jarvan was effectively already dead and they weren't able to follow up at all.
Alright, so Mima also double buff, now going to be happy defending against Ambition with no problem. And so CTU makes the first move, and now they're going to look to see where they can go. Paranoia is down, and top lane has been in a lockdown. There are no wards, though, so we are going to see Raccoon go up there. His fear is still going to function. Ambition actually goes in for a kill. He tries to get a lot of assassination factor. He's chasing through, blows the flash on Mima. So Mima is forced to run away.
And that's Kha'Zix in a nutshell for you. Still very scary, in spite of the fact that there's not a Q evolution here, instead going for that pushing style. And I can understand that. It's usually Flame that's up.
Oh, Reris dodges the EQ combo, and he's going to try to run away with Blade of the Ruined King. Does not get hit by the Living Artillery, and he's going to be okay. But the mid tower is not. He gets caught by Death Sentence, and that is, in fact, the Death Sentence right there, as Helios picks it up, and CJ Blaze gets the mid tower. Reris getting a little bit too cute against three people.
That was a bit of a misplay from Reris to come back right there, and he set himself up with a straight line for the Death Sentence as well. Pretty easy for Lust Boy to land that one.
All right, so CJ Blaze is going to happily equalize the game once again. Very back and forth between these two teams, as you mentioned, Monte Cristo.
Well, we do have the Spirit Rush up again, and when the Paranoia comes up, now that the DFG has been finished, as well as the Blade of the Ruined King, so all these items very important for doing that burst damage, that upfront damage that CTU needs to make picks. But Blaze again coming back into this.
And a full duel between No Name and Flame. Flame realizes his mistake. Hemoplague is not going to do nearly enough to win this fight. Comes in for just one more transfusion to run away, and Ambition comes in to make sure that No Name doesn't get any ideas about getting a pick kill.
Yeah, Ambition intelligently leaping over the wall as Wolf was coming in from the rear. Made it a little bit risky. He wanted to go in on No Name, but a nice rotation from CTU will stop that from happening, and the pushing beginning. But I have to say that even though we've seen Shield do that Q evolve, the W evolve has been so critical this game.
Oh, Ambition gets caught, so that's 2 people at low health. Hemoplague is also down, so not an advantageous group fight for CJ Blaze. Mima actually using Spirit Rush to just kite around and put down some more poke. Hermes has now regrouped, but Flame looking to maybe tap out in that top lane as we see CTU continuously pushing. Look at that wave clear coming in from Elise and Ari.
They're still looking for that pick. Again, they want to get the Lucky Charms. Mima's always after his Lucky Charms.
And he may get them in this push. Not that one, though. That wave is going to have to wait, and this is just on lockdown. Ambition, smartly realizing this, he knows he doesn't need to be there to defend this tower. Goes back into mid, maybe relieve some pressure, or at least get some extra CS and experience for himself, which brings out Riris, which is a lot of damage missing from CTU.
Well, it will be hard for CTU to dive this with Cataclysm and the box able to be used at any time. Well, Lustboy is just waiting for the cooldown on that. Riris comes back to go ahead and farm up a little bit. They know they're not going to get that 5-man push. CTU doesn't have quite enough siege if they don't have that charm coming out in order to land it. Now, they need to start looking for picks right now because CJ Blaze, they're hitting their stride, they're getting the turrets, Ambition is rotating well, and so they have to get that split push started. And again, this is very critical to when you're running a composition like the one CTU is running. Paranoia is almost better when it's up than when it's down. Than when you use it to get a pick, because the pressure it creates in the minds of your opponents is huge.
Riris going to chase away Ambition. I agree. Riris is going to pick that blue buff up to make sure no one else steals it. But also, Ambition's rotation was just so well done there. He pushes out the mid lane, which keeps Riris tied up.
The W evolve is incredibly important to how Ambition is putting pressure on the map. So it's very clear that that was the superior choice in this setting.
And Hemoplague actually just going to hit 2 minions. And so that's Flame's one embarrassing moment of group stage.
Okay, well, again, CTU, outer turrets down. Here's what they got to do. They have to put the fear in them with Paranoia. They have to create pressure. And how you do that is you go back, you get oracles, you get pink wards, which is what we're seeing them do. You start split pushing in mid and bot lane so you can maintain dragon control, and you park Nocturne in the jungle so that they don't know where he is, and that way he can cover both lanes at the same time to put the Paranoia pressure down. And if CJ decides to get frisky with some sort of all-in, you can instantly be there to back up your DFG Ari or your split pushing Elise.
There you go. Breakdown, very well done. And now they are slowly moving towards the jungle. Sona heading straight into that river now, ready to clear out vision against CJ Blaze. And Blaze isn't there to even get picks on this ward clearing squad because they're all spread out a little bit right now, committing to their split push. Wolf is going to go ahead and check Dragon Pit first.
No Name needed not to go to top lane. I think this is a mistake, but we'll see if they actually pay for it or not.
Ambition getting picked again by that charm. And No Name is regrouping now, but...
Okay, just in time for Dragon. Okay, good timing from No Name there.
There you go. Dragon is up. Not enough wards have been cleared yet, though, from CTU. It's still a very open fight for both sides. I mean, right in front of Dragon is gone, but you can assume as soon as they disappear from mid, they're going to be right there. Another ward comes down. Wolf surely heard that, just waiting to clear it out, because you don't want to get caught by a death sentence over the wall right now.
And this is a war of pokes right now, because whoever gets the better pokes is going to have the engage.
Oh, they're going to jump right into mid as we saw Ambition a little bit too far. Wow, Crescendo locks on Hermes on the retreat. Very well placed from the side. Helios tries to jump in with Cataclysm, but he's forced to escape from Riris. Meanwhile, No Name just chasing down 2 people on his own. Helios is going to go down. Raccoon gets the fear, and that's also going to be the Dragon. Riris actually gets the last hit. Very well done for CTU. Free Dragon. Well played.
Beautifully played by CTU. And CJ Blaze making a positional error right there. Ambition not respecting the fact how fast those picks can come with Nocturne and Ari with the Paranoia and Spirit Rush. He wasn't going to be there in time to do absolutely anything, and they're still going for it.
No Name getting a little bit aggressive, but waiting for Riris to come in. Almost gets the kill on Ambition. One more auto attack, and that would... Oh, actually... The poison lasting just long enough to pick up that kill. Well done by Riris.
Really nicely done. So, in the end, CTU taking advantage of the positional error from Blaze in order to get their pick comp rolling, and that's how they want to play every team fight if they can. So we'll have to see what their plan is now, if they're going to go for that split push that I've been waxing on about, because that is a beautiful way to play Nocturne, and I love it when I see it. That's why I've been so pumped up about seeing the possibility of CTU executing it.
All right, well, you know, they had the right mindset, or they had the same mindset going for that dragon, clearing out wards. Now they had some picks. They have a little bit of breathing room. They just have to clear out the lanes once again. We'll see if they focus on that south side of the map. But man, that team fight was just so beautiful. Everyone played their abilities the way they needed to. The crescendo was amazing. And, you know, Reris also sticking to the right targets and not getting caught himself.
Well, here we go. Raccoon coming in. He's nearly finished that Aegis, and that's going to be particularly important against that Hemo Plague once it comes in. And CTU, very careful not to let Flame get that deadly Hemo Plague, because the combo from Blaze is terrifying. Hemo Plague coming down, followed up by Kog'Maw and Kha'Zix with the reset. So they have to be super careful that that is not going to happen at all. And they've managed to pull it off so far.
Yeah, I mean, they've really denied Hemo Plagues from Flame, which is not an easy thing to do. I mean, Flame is known as one of the best top laners, if not the best in Korea, for a reason.
Can they not see that ward in the... Oh, they can, okay. It's a lot weird. They were just playing it cautiously.
Mima gets his lucky charm against Hermes. A single fire burst takes out that poor Void creature.
And now they can Baron.
Yep, now they can Baron.
This is fantastic for CTU. And the Twitch pick's so good in this composition as well, because when you can engage with Twitch with ambush, they don't know he's there, and then Ari comes up from behind, and the burst potential between DFG and the Blade is huge.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's going to be a free Baron. And Helios and Lustboy really want to check it out, but they should not try to go for the steal. Helios is going to go in. He doesn't get it. He's going to pay for it, and all of CJ Blaze is going to pay for that. Now that Jarvan is gone, they got Baron. They're just going to push out all the lanes again.
You know, they're going to try and go for this top turret, which has been standing for too long, but they've got a minion wave right there, so they'll be able to put down that pressure and probably knock it out before they all recall and then set up with the next phase of their strategy.
Yep. This tower's still up.
Yeah, Raccoon can just tank this. There we go.
And just going to jump in, at least sending out the Spiralings ahead. Tower goes down very quickly. Twitch and Ari already on the move. They went back. Twitch now has his Infinity's Edge.
Oh, that is so scary.
Yeah, that's a very scary Twitch right now.
He's very far ahead of Hermes at this stage. 4-1 and 4 compared to 1-2 and 1. And we're seeing that big global gold lead for CTU.
Yeah, CTU is playing.
That dragon fight was so well done. CTU. You're making me a fan.
There you go. It was very beautiful. I mean, as soon as they noticed Ambition's Void Spike come over that wall, they just turned right away. You know, and that's the sign of a pro team, right? You get one small tell, like you hear a Shaco box or you see the tip of a Void Spike, and you immediately process that in terms of positioning. Great decision making. And this just proves CTU very well could have won game one. That's why this match
that game was close.
So
by the end, there was a pretty big gulf, and the fact that CJ had that better 5v5 when both teams were looking for 5v5 AoE was, and here we go, they're clearing out.
There we go.
The red side wards, and this is the threat of the Nocturne, where you have.
Look at that vision. Our observer is so good.
This is how you play it.
Yep, actually, it's just going to be a crescendo catch onto Flame out of all people.
This is such great play by CTU.
Wow.
They're making the exact right calls here, and that's the threat. Because if you shove in the mid and then the bot lane, you don't go for that wide angle split push between top and bot with Nocturne. You go for the narrow angle, the acute angle split push between mid and bot or top and bot. And here we go.
And Raccoon's going to dive forward, keeps Kha'Zix away from the fight along with Kog'Maw. That's going to give actually a free kill to Raccoon onto Thresh, and now CTU is just breaking everyone down. Cataclysm was left alone in front under the tower, so no one could really take advantage of them being under the tower. Nocturne, this is the power of Nocturne. He zones everyone out so hard that they couldn't take advantage of having the safety of a tower. Ambition gets caught with the cocoon. The Hemoblade comes down finally in this game, but it might be too late. The game very well could end right here.
This game, CTU is giving me warm, fuzzy esports feelings. Chobra, like the degree of strategic perfection to which they have played this game is, I'm so surprised at how much and how fast this team has grown since their games against Sword. You have to remember there are only 3 games in this group stage, 3 matches, and over those 3 matches we've seen leaps and bounds of improvement. I think Mima coming from the old MVP White, which is now MVP Ozone, and Wolf coming from Najin Shield have lent veteran play calling here, no named, the obvious up-and-coming rookie, and Riris. What a talent to come in as well as an AD carry. So CTU looking strong.
Yeah, they have all the potential. Riris actually being able to dual Ambition.
Well, that's what Blade does right now, and this is why Blade is getting nerfed.
Well, there you go. Case in point. I mean, we heard them talking about it in the first game too, just saying, Reaper saying, I mean, Blade of the Ruined King, #1 item in 1v1 duels.
Especially on a ranged AD, it allows you to do weird things with AD carries that you probably shouldn't be able to do in terms of split pushing with Vayne and dueling with Twitch. You can split with Twitch pretty okay as well, but Vayne obviously the queen of the AD carry split push.
Oh, for sure. There's a free dragon for CTU, and now CTU playing that methodically. You know, what's so scary about their pick earlier in the south side is also that it was against that base wall. The inner tower was still there. That is often a safe spot to get to the tower fast. And when you get caught like that, you're like, well, now every time I have to go into the base.
That's what you do with pick comps. You punish rotations, and they knew exactly what was going to be going on right there. And you'll notice again, they're splitting between mid and top as they take down the last couple of turrets right here.
Ahri is dueling Kha'Zix up and top. Ahri comes out a little bit ahead. Raccoon using that paranoia to chase people away. Mima eventually gets the kill onto Ambition. I saw him dueling back and forth the whole time, but Mima comes out on top.
That was purely to control vision too.
Oh, for sure.
Raccoon knowing how to use that Nocturnal without committing to the actual dive.
And No Name just diving a little bit. Here comes a 3-man Hemoblade. Isn't enough. Cataclysm under the tower, but the tower goes down immediately. So CTU can just back off for a little bit. They try to turn around. Wolf does go down, but Riris is putting out so much damage with Spray and Pray. Here comes Hermes to try to chase, but Helios cannot chase with the rest of the team, so he needs to watch out.
But CTU knows they just have to wait this one out. The super minions are killing their Nexus turret right now, so the longer they can bait CJ Blaze back, the better they're going to be.
That's exactly what's going to happen. Mima going to pick up this blue buff to make sure the mana comes back. So CTU just going to hang out here. Riris going to go back, and they're all going to regroup. Gets that poor lizard.
Mima, you got to kill them all if you want to recall.
It's always nice to have those moments. And there we go. Mima now going to be able to come back. Here's a replay of that 1v1.
Yeah, what happened here? So Mima, Sonya is, oh, very nice, and Ambition getting a little scared. Oh, look at that. Actually, that paranoia was very important because he didn't know where Mima was.
Yes,
right there. So he doubled back, and that was actually his death. So
wow, that was really, really well done. All right, so, you know, and the other thing about this is Ambition and Flame are 0-3 and 1. The superstars of CJ Blaze are you're human. You have to be on tilt at this point when you have been bullied out of your own lanes and you have no kills as assassins.
This is how MVP Ozone beat Blaze, though. What you do is when they try and freeze in empty lane farms, you just rotate and kill them, and you never give them a chance to power up, because the empowered Flame Ambition combo is one of the least beatable things in the world right now. So you basically just have to stop them. They have a big ramp time, so you can figure out, and it's hard to stop because they rotate so well that you have to play these big assassins that can get in quickly.
And this is just really scary. Here comes a crescendo, locks two people up over the corner of the wall. Helios goes out immediately to actually Soda, and here we go. Noni was just going to chase through. They're not even going to care about Ambition. Ambition tries to come in for the reset, but he goes a little bit too early. Eventually gets the kill onto Mima, but Mima with that stasis, what a brilliant time. Remus actually just waits there until, oh my, what a way to finish the game. Remus sits there in stealth, waiting for Ambition to port back.
That was also a great Baron bait by CTU because it actually allowed the super minions to kill the other Nexus turret. And they can't kill the inhibitor right now because the Nexus right now because the inhibitor came up. So they had to wait for a second, but they'll get it. And CTU splits 1-1, meaning we have a tie, and we will have a tiebreaker. Another great game between these two teams is something you can look forward to next week.
It is going to be exciting. Blaze definitely going to come in for some much wanted revenge, but that last fight was just so good. CTU playing, and I was just, looking at that too when they were baiting that Baron, that vision, so scary looking for CJ Blaze, and Mima was hiding around the corner for the charm with Rira stealth, all sorts of scariness coming out against CJ Blaze, and Flame looking disappointed, and you can't blame him. You are the top laner in Korea, and you just got completely bullied out.
Yes, absolutely. Well, that dragon fight, so good from CTU.
Yes.
That was the dragon fight that they wanted last game. Both of these games came down to these really weird dragon fights where small mistakes by either side ended up meaning a whole hell of a lot in terms of CTU's ability to push their advantage. Because what we saw with that dragon fight was them able to win decisively, take a lot of objectives from it. If they had had that same fight with Karthus there in the first game, they may have been able to 2-0 Blaze. But Blaze came back, played nicely in the first one, and CTU actually able to close this time around. They are a legit team, and I can't wait to see them in a best-of-5 in the playoffs.
I am so excited, and like you said, Monty, that's where you know that in a team game, you are late for half or 1 second to a team fight. Both times, Ambition out of position for 1 second, Mima the game before, and that changes the entirety of the team fight and the game. You have to react positively, and that's where we've seen that before too, where teams with good play calling but worse plays would win out games because the entire team would join up to make that play happen instead of people doubting each other or being confused. And we hear that in the interviews too. Every time we see a mess up, they say, well, we were split in our play calling, we were split in our decision making, and so we couldn't make up our mind. And you just can't hit that, especially against a team like CJ Blaze.
Absolutely. Well, we're waiting on our next MVP announcement right here. It's very tense.
Oh,
there we go.
And it's Reris on that Twitch 9, 1 and 8. Some really good positioning. A little bit, having fun a little bit at the end too. And, he farmed well. Everything was played well.
CTU. What a story for this team.
Oh, yeah.
If they continue to improve and play at this level, they are a legitimate threat to Royal Road. They are very legitimate right now because their level of strategy and understanding as well as their individual play, just incredibly solid.
And Royal Roading on Champions would be what a story because we've seen the same teams go into the round of 4 every time, and for CTU to start breaking that mold from the group stage, and now we're going to meet both MVPs. But before that, let's check out the MVP ranking now that we've seen both games, and Virus now joining the rank of 200s.
Yeah, and Ambition there as well. So great stuff, and of course, to translate our interviews, a man who never laughs, he only chortles. It's Chobra.
Hey guys, I am here to translate and interview handsome Ambition and cute little Reris. And Ambition getting ready for his interview. Of course, we're going to meet them separately. Oh, it's Fanacarp.
Fanacarp.
He was right there. Fanacarp earlier in the back, but found his favorite seat up front. And so, yeah, again, reminder, they were both already in the top 8, fighting for a spot, and then they tied. So we're going to see them again next week, which is what a treat from the group stage. Extended, amazing group stage battles. We're going to talk to Ambition first, the MVP of Game 1, looking a little bit phased because of that downfall in Game 2 from his Kazakhs.
일단 새로운 챔프가 나와서
And Ambition says, you know, Lissandra, I've been practicing with her. She's a new champion. She seemed pretty good. I'm glad I could get MVP with that new champion. There's the Blaze Jet with Flame as the pilot. So let's hear why he thinks Lissandra is good.